Hello, and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today we are starting the first recipe in the Red Velvet Cupcake Murder. They are, in fact, Red Velvet Surprise Cupcakes. We are making chocolate apricot surprises as well as the cream cheese frosting. So there are 3 sets of ingredients for this. You can make the chocolate apricot surprises the night before. It does have a lot of notes, and like I said, there's stuff in 3 different spaces, so bear with me. If you're making these right away, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350. And then it says, to make these cupcakes, you must first make chocolate apricot surprises. Don't worry, they'll only take you 15 minutes at the most. If you prefer to make them at night and not bake the cupcakes until morning, preheat the oven at that time. So for the chocolate surprises, you're going to want 6 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips. That's 1 cup of chips, 2 tablespoons apricot jam, and 2 tablespoons of salted butter. Then it has another note that you can make them the night before you make your cupcakes, but only if you live alone. If you have a family, someone is bound to get up in the middle of the night to eat them. For the Red Velvet Cupcakes themselves, this is where you're going to want to have your preheated oven. You're going to want 1.5 cups of white sugar, half a cup of salted butter, half a cup of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons red food color gel. If you can't find gel, you can use liquid food coloring, but gel is best. I use Betty Crocker Classic Gel Food Colors. This is where I think I sort of went off the rails a bit. I got this, the one that comes in the actual cake decorating baking section of your grocery, I got it at Walmart. So I do not think 2 teaspoons of this will be the right amount. I think this would be like reddest thing you've ever seen, fire truck red, light red. I'll probably just mix a little in until I get to a nice color. You're going to want 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 large eggs, 2.5 cups all-purpose flour, 1 cup of buttermilk, 1 teaspoon of red wine vinegar or white vinegar if you can't find red wine vinegar. My cup can pans hold 12 apiece, so I use 2 cupcake pans. I also use double cupcake papers in each cup. Warning about food color gel. Make sure you don't buy red decorating gel instead of food color gel. The decorating gel comes in individual tubes and is used to write on the top of cakes in various colors of gel frosting. You need to buy the concentrated food color gel that will color your cupcake batter red. If you can't find food color gel, you can use liquid food coloring, but you'll have to use double the amount. So they do make gel food color squeezy bottles, and I think that's what I was supposed to use. But they also make regular food coloring, and then they make the professional grade colorant. So I should need a lot less than 2 teaspoons to make that color. It says that when they get the cupcakes and everything done, Lisa and I used a 2 tablespoon scoop to do this in the cookie jar. So you'll fill the cupcakes at the bottom with 2 tablespoons of batter, and then you'll put in your chocolate surprises, and then you'll fill the cupcakes the rest of the way. Then you'll bake those for 20 to 23 minutes. Once they are cooled completely, you'll make the cream cheese frosting, which needs 4 ounces of cream cheese, a 1/4 cup of salted butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 cups of powdered sugar, and then it says this recipe will frost 20 cupcakes. If there's any frosting left over, spread it on graham crackers to soda crackers for kids. When Lisa and I baked these for the grand opening of the Albion Hotel, we sprinkled the top of the cream cheese frosting with red decorating sugar. So, that being said, there are different parts to this. There is a lot of ingredients on the counter, but the thing that should note is this is a traditional red velvet recipe. It's not a modern one where it's just cocoa powder and basically chocolate cake dyed red. It is the modern, or the traditional version, where they're using buttermilk and vinegar to create a light, I don't know, it's like a chemical reaction. It makes a tangy flavor. And then you have the cocoa as a little bit of a colorant and a flavor-based profile. But it's more of a back note, not a major note, in a modern. If I could get my words right. Traditional red velvet. But everything is laid out. Like I said, there are a lot of parts to this one. So essentially what we're doing with these surprises is we're taking the first 3 ingredients and putting them in a microwave-safe dish, microwaving for a minute. Then we're going to take off a piece of wax paper and place it on a piece of cardboard or cookie sheet next to your chocolate mixture, and you're going to use a 1/4 of a teaspoon to scoop them out into balls. They say if it's too liquidy, to let them cool off a little bit more. You want to make sure you have 24 of the surprises. So let's get it microwaved so we can get started. So it does say you can just go straight away. Here are the 24 surprises. Now I'm just going to toss those in the fridge until later. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is the sugar, the oil, and the butter. We're going to get those nice and friendly. To this, we're going to add the salt, baking soda, baking powder, and the cocoa. Put that in a little mix. The vanilla is going to go in next. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Okay. The next thing they want us to do is to add the 2 teaspoons of gel color. Like I said, this is a stronger version. I'm going to use 2 scoops. Just a jumping off point. Next, we're going to add in the eggs one at a time. Okay. Now, we want a cup of the flour. And it says to scrape it down, make the sides and everything. Alright, so half of the buttermilk. So now we want the second cup of flour. Now, the rest of the buttermilk. Alright, in goes the rest of the flour. Lastly, we're going to add in the red wine vinegar. For this part, we're going to want our cupcake pans. Our 2 tablespoon cup is what they said they use. And our spices. They did say to use wax paper. I didn't have wax paper. I used parchment, so hopefully they'll still come off. And we're just going to fill these 1/3 of a cup full. Well, it says 1/3. 1/3 full. Whatever. 2 tablespoons going in. Oh yeah, that works. We just pop them and push them down slightly, but not enough to go. And I don't know what 1/4 of a teaspoon they're using, but mine ended up being more like a teaspoon than 1/4. Probably could have made them wider, but it is what it is. Alright, 24 surprises in. Now we just top them with the rest of the batter and move on. I don't know if it's enough to keep using the 2 tablespoons in each one. It doesn't really look like it. But I think that's just, it's already dirty, so that's kind of what we're going to use. Maybe I'll just fill it half full and they'll get a tablespoon in each one instead. I'm going to just try to dollop it enough to cover the surprise and hope it's good enough. And anybody who watches this channel enough knows how much I really hate getting my finger messy. So, yay! Here are our chocolate Red Velvet Surprise Cupcakes. They need to bake for 30 minutes. Okay, so the book says 20. It did take about 30. For some reason, they expanded way beyond their base. It was almost like a cookie sitting on top. No idea why. But We are moving on to the cream cheese frosting. So for this, we are going to put the cream cheese and the butter in a microwave-safe bowl and microwave them for 30 seconds. Going to keep microwaving them in 20-second intervals until they are nice and smooth. Note, there's cream cheese all over my microwave. If you do this, I would soften both of them and mix them together. I would not mess with the microwave, and if you are, put something over it. I am skeptical of this. I have made a lot of cream cheese frostings in my time, and none of them have started like this. But we finally have it smooth. So the next thing we're going to do is add the vanilla. It says to add the powdered sugar in a half a cup at a time. It says to continue to add it until it is spreadable and not runny. It says work from the center out. Don't go all the way to the edges. But you're telling me this tiny amount is supposed to ice all of those. I don't believe it. I really don't. So what I've done is I've saved the crumbs from getting them out of the pan and icing them, and I'm just gonna sprinkle them on top. They said they use sugared sprinkles. Well, I'm using cake bits. Maybe they'll hide some of the sins of these cakes, because they are delightful. They really are. I don't know what else to say about them. They're a hot mess. And the only thing that will save this from being a fail is that they taste good. Because, oh my gosh. I had my suspicions when I saw them in the oven. And it has gotten worse from there. Getting them out of the pan, the weird frosting. It has all just been a very interesting test of accomplishment this morning. So all I can hope is that it tastes good. So here are the Red Velvet Surprise Cupcakes. Well, the surprise is kind of burnt at the bottom. I don't know if it's burnt, but it's very brownie fudge-like. The cake itself looks nice. It's nice, it's pretty, it's red. It did not want to come out of the wrapper. Final thoughts. The cake itself is good. It's light, it's delicate, it's delicious. And the surprise, I hope on all of them, did not sink to the bottom. Because it's basically a brownie bit on the very bottom. I don't know if that's what they were supposed to do. But wasn't... I'm not the biggest brownie person. I thought it'd be more like a truffle in the center. Something like that. But I am hoping this is not a tone for the rest of the book with these recipes, because while it is a traditional red velvet, I would never make these again. There are better recipes out there that don't expand into giant mechas, whatever, at the top, because and they're a mess. They look a mess. They taste delicious, but they look a mess. And they're messy to eat, and they did not want to come out of the wrappers, and it's a giant thing. Overall, if I had to give this a 0 being I'd never touch it again, and 10 being I absolutely would add this into my baking rotation, it's probably like a 4.5. And it's only getting that because the flavor is good. But like I said, there's better red velvets out there. There's icings that are more straightforward than melting stuff, I don't know if that was necessary. I feel you could have room temped the butter and the cream cheese and just thrown it all into a mixer and had a nice whipped cream cheese frosting. Yeah, I don't know about this. Next week, we are making something called a tickled pink lemonade cookie with a frosting for that as well. Hopefully it goes better than this mess did. But if you're interested in seeing that, join us next week. I hope you all have a good one. Bye.